Avoidance, this is the element that's most commonly waived. Avoidance has to do with whether or not you have a legal duty to retreat before you can defend yourself. There are only 11 states that impose this element of avoidance. 39 states are stand your ground states, either by statute or by case law in those jurisdictions. That said, I would urge all of you, if you have a safe avenue of retreat, I don't care if you're in a stand your ground state or not, if you can safely simply walk away from that fight rather than get in the fight, why wouldn't you do that? Because, as I already said, the moment you get engaged in that fight, what have you just done? Incurred a greater than zero risk of death and a greater than zero risk of going to prison for the rest of your life. Now, are there things worth dying for and going to prison for? I would say yes, right? I think of my wife, my kids, my parents. Then I run out of shit that I'm willing to die or go to prison for. So there are things that are worth those risks, but it should be a pretty limited list. I just want you to be able to make an informed decision about the risks that you're incurring. And reasonableness. Reasonableness essentially means two things, really. One is that you had a genuine good faith belief in the need to act in self-defense. If you don't think it was self-defense, obviously it couldn't have been self-defense. But also that subjective belief, no matter how genuine it was, has to be objectively reasonable. So a hypothetical, reasonable and prudent person in those circumstances would have shared that belief. What that really means is that your fear can't be speculative. It can't be, for example, well, for all I knew, that guy could have had a gun or he could have had a knife. That's a speculative fear. That's not a fear based on evidence, things that you're observing. That's different than if someone's reaching for their waistband where they might keep a weapon. They're reaching for a waistband is an observation. It's evidence from which you might make a reasonable inference that they're reaching for a weapon. But you need something like that. It can't just be speculative or imaginative fear that you're defending yourself against. And unfortunately, or not, depends on how you look at it, I suppose. As a criminal defense attorney, I think it's unfortunate.